The Bears are now on the clock. Bears have just made Atkins their guy. Let's hear more about him from Adam Schefter.
I heard he surprised several scouts at his pro day when he showed up looking a lot leaner, and the difference showed when he went through drills. He turned in slightly faster times than expected in every major drill and displayed improved footwork compared to how he looked at the tail end of the season. I've heard from a few different coaches that they'd like to see him put some weight back on, yet keep playing as quick as he currently is. Whether he does that or not, I think we'll see him on the line on Sundays.
The Rams are now on the clock. The Eagles are now on the clock. All right, let's go to Adam Schefter, who's got more on this pick.
He's the type of wide receiver that several scouts believe could be the next all-time great. His performance at the College All-Star Game further supported this belief, hauling in double-digit catches and ending the day with 4 touchdowns. Draft experts praise him for his pure athleticism, but some have questioned his work ethic. Matt Miller was one of them, feeling that when the game comes so easily to you at the college level and you are so gifted physically, you could very easily lose the mental edge needed to excel in the NFL. He should get plenty of reps in the preseason to prove his worth and see if he can live up to the...
The Bills are now on the clock. The Bengals are now on the clock. The Lions are now on the clock. The Cowboys are now on the clock. Now that the Cowboys have made their pick, let's go to Adam Schefter to hear more about him.
Every year there are a number of players...
The Steelers have just dialed up their selection, and it's Dial. Let's hear more about him from Adam.
You expect big guys to put up big numbers on the bench at the Combine, but that just didn't happen for him. In fact, there were a few small guys out there that put up more reps than he could. According to Matt Miller, you could tell he was really struggling around the 8th rep, and he barely made it over 10 before giving up. It was a shameful display for a guy his size surrounded by his peers, but it didn't keep him from getting drafted. He's going to need a good offseason of endurance training, but it looks like the team saw something in him that they like to pick him up.
The Steelers are now on the clock. Let's go to Adam now, who's got more on the Steelers' last pick.
Well, there isn't much to say other than this kid was born to run. He's the spitting image of his father, a nationally ranked sprinter in several major events and highly recruited by every major college. However, unlike his dad, he chose to pursue a career in football, and so far that decision is paying off. He may not be gold medal fast, but he has the speed and quickness to cause fits for the opposing team. He's the type of player you like to see out in the open field where he can make moves a lot of other players can't. The coaches are going to love having his speed at their disposal.
Seahawks pick is in. Adam, give us the latest information on this guy.
One thing that kept coming up from GMs whenever this guy's name is mentioned was his clutch factor. Throughout his college career, he managed to win big games and flat outplay some big names at the same position in the process. It's almost as if the more challenging the situation, the more he elevates his game, a trait that will serve him well in the NFL. According to my sources, this X factor, coupled with his power arm, had several organizations pinning him as a surefire franchise quarterback. Looks like this team has gotten its man.
The 49ers are now on the clock. Pick's been made. Let's go to Adam Schefter to hear more about the player.
A recent change to the combine eligibility rules added an academic clause. Basically, it withheld invitations to the combine from players who had a poor academic standing. I couldn't find out the specifics of his violation, but it was enough for him to lose eligibility for the combine. Not only that, but some scouts pointed to the off the field concerns as a reason he slid down draft boards. At least there was enough tape of him playing for scouts to work with, and it was enough to impress at least one team, and we'll see how he does for them.
The Lions are now on the clock. The Lions are now on the clock. The Dolphins are now on the clock. The Vikings are now on the clock. The Vikings pick is in. Let's go to Adam with more on Bird.
It's always great to see a running back win the Heisman. It's like a sign that the old ways of ground and pound haven't completely vanished. He was a pure workhorse for the team and accounted for well over 60% of its total offensive production. Remove him from the team, and I strongly believe it wouldn't have finished at the top of its conference. And now he has the chance to carry the ball at the next level, and this team just got a gem of a player. We'll see if he becomes its primary ball carrier right from the start, or if it incorporates him into a running back by committee system.
The Bills are now on the clock. Bills just made their pick. Adam, what can you tell us about him?
A high-flying, hard-hitting defensive back, he was the subject of much criticism earlier this year after being unable to put together consistent performances week to week. Consistency doesn't even do the roller coaster of emotions he went through justice. A better description may have been puzzling. After turning in an exceptional performance in week 1 with 2 picks, he was downright terrible in week 2, being burned for 3 touchdowns. Week 3 saw him force a fumble and return it for a touchdown, and then week 4 saw him get beat on plays that led to critical scores and a close loss. The pendulum continued to swing both ways throughout the entire year, prompting one scout I spoke with to nickname him the Enigma. This pick could have a huge upside, providing this coaching staff has the patience for him to develop into a much more consistent player.
The Broncos are now on the clock. The Bears are now on the clock. The Redskins are now on the clock. The 49ers are now on the clock. Let's go to Adam now, who's got more on the 49ers' latest pick.
Long talked about as a top 3 defensive back prospect, his draft stock fell dramatically after a series of consecutive struggles late in the season against inferior wide receivers. Many speculated that these struggles were due to a series of nagging injuries, a theory which may have been validated by his strong performance at his pro day. I was able to talk with several GMs about him at the combine, and they told me he possesses the raw physical skills needed to become a top-tier NFL defensive back. 3 skills in particular were mentioned by every GM I spoke to: exceptional physicality at the line of scrimmage, a nose for the ball, and better hands than most receivers they've seen and scouted. The reason for his collegiate struggles may forever be shrouded in mystery, but they'll soon be forgotten if he's able to realize his full football potential.
The Broncos are now on the clock. The Titans are now on the clock. The Cardinals are now on the clock. The Bills are now on the clock. The Giants are now on the clock. Adam, what can you tell us about the Giants' newest player?
A tackling machine, he finished the season just as strong as he's and wreaking havoc upon a helpless offense. As the #1 linebacker in the draft, and even had expert Todd McShay believing he deserved to be considered as the top overall defender in the draft, position agnostic. The biggest question for him now is, can he continue putting up gaudy tackle numbers in the NFL? His new team certainly hopes so.
The Jets are now on the clock. The Rams are now on the clock. The Colts are now on the clock. The Jaguars are now on the clock. The Packers are now on the clock. The Steelers are now on the clock. The Seahawks are now on the clock.